Oh. Oh, it's you. Oh, are you ready for a fucking stream? It looks like the king is about to fall. Looks like this might be the end for Destiny. It won't be the end. I'm gonna talk to Catnip, but we're going to go over some of this stuff. I'm gonna talk to Catnip. I talked to Catnip in the past about her experience getting dogpiled by DGG, targeted by Destiny. I think that'll help frame things in the context of his pattern of behavior and his treatment of people with less power, particularly women, painting them as crazy. So we're gonna do that. Let me get my fucking link out. It's time. It is time. It's your time, Destiny. Let's fucking go. Leah, you formerly known as Lavloon, tweets out this photo of a comment on a YouTube comment. Damn, it's always the ones you suspect the most. 1.4k likes. Ain't it the truth? I'm gonna message Catnip. Don't worry, guys. Okay. Look, Destiny is a gooner. Okay. He's a gooner, right? It's just that he's a gooner. Listen, buddy. Listen, you fucking punk. Gooning. Listen, you fucking little fucking nerd DGGers. Gooning is not immoral. Gooning is not a crime. Gooning is fun and based. And there's nothing wrong with fucking gooning, you fucking morons. There's nothing wrong with being horny. There's nothing wrong with being a sex addict. It's bad for you, maybe, but there's nothing fucking wrong with it. Leaking sex tapes without someone's consent, that's immoral and illegal. Recording people having sex with you without their consent or knowledge is highly immoral and highly illegal, which is the accusation that Cherry has levied, and she is now going to be pressing charges too. And I believe her. Unlike with Pixie, there is not 100% evidence for that, but I believe it. While back, a couple months ago, Lauren De Laguna was decrying that Destiny is that Destiny is recording people having sex with him without their consent or knowledge. It's basically said that his apartment is wired up to record, and she was ostracized as a crazy fucking psycho bitch for doing that. And looks like she was right. Lauren De Laguna W. She was fucking right. Destiny in his leaks regarding his embarrassing sucking dick leaks talks about bringing devices with him to meet up with guys on Grindr so that he can record the interactions and bring it home with him. And he has now been proven to be sharing this content. How do you think it, I mean, that's how it got leaked in the first place. So that is also done without the consent or knowledge of I mean, you would have to assume, otherwise, like, he would probably, like, talking about leaving his phone in his pocket so that he can record it doesn't sound like a description of how you do it if you're doing it with consent, now does it? The accusation that Cherry is levying is that, there is a recording of exactly the same behavior that is described by Destiny himself of her having sex, audio, without her knowing that it was happening when it was being recorded. And yeah. And we're probably not going to get to listen to that. We're going to know when criminal charges are placed upon Destiny or not. But I believe it 100%. We got to wait for Catnip a little bit. Someone in my chat says, keep saying the word allegedly. No. He definitely didn't allegedly leak sex video of Pixie. That's a matter of public record and fact. And he is being accused by Cherry, and I believe him. I don't need to say the word allegedly if I say those things. And I'm going to continue saying it without using the word allegedly, like as much as I possibly can. Yeah. I mean, there's a pattern of behavior here that is not an alleged pattern of behavior. It's a matter of public record. And I think that there's a lot of DGGers sort of jumping ship and freaking out. But I see a lot of these people acting like they are talking, like acting like they were criticizing Destiny. But really, they're just like, oh, it just sucks that he's such a gooner. No, you fucking dipshit. Don't appropriate my fucking culture. There's nothing wrong with gooning. Gooning saves lives. Destiny ruins lives. Gooning is not the fucking operator that makes it immoral. Gooning is the operator that makes it fun and relatable. So what you're doing when you make that argument, that dismissal, is you're just trying to be like, oh yeah, it's so bad, but it's relatable. Shut the fuck up, you fucking coward. Get your mind out of the fucking cult. We've got Hassan talking about it, saying that he's always thought of DGG as a cult. I mean, yeah, and he's right. It is a cult. And hopefully this shakes the branches a little bit. And whatever is left stuck to that cult tree is, I mean, that if that's where you want to... All right, looks like Catnip's ready. See if I get a... No, not that. Let's fucking go, baby. Not so erudite. Okay, look at this. Okay, breaking news. Breaking news. Hold on. Just give me a second. I need to help Catnip. Get a link to my server. I don't think we need to go into a server. We can just do a fucking invite. We can just do a call, but we can just do it this way. Join voice. Okay, breaking news. Here, we got a tweet from Not So Erudite. Not So Erudite says, my statement with the info so far, my opinion will update as information is made available. I have little info on the new claims, and my opinion will continue to update as information does. So she's probably not going to be, her opinion is already stale because it's probably not going to address the Cherry claims, which are extremely serious. But we can check that out. We can check out that document. Someone here replies, my opinion will continue to update as information does. You're acting as if you weren't there and actively trying to mediate and broker shit like some kind of backroom enforcer. You don't need information as it's available. You were there. Your banner is so appropriate. Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm gonna get Catnip in here. I don't think she's ready quite yet. So, I found this clip of Pixie's dad on stream with Pixie talking to Destiny. I just wanted to share that. Apparently, this is after Destiny. From what I heard from my source, which is Queeman, or just a while ago, that this is from after Destiny had already betrayed Pixie's trust. Pixie is saying, "Oh, I'm inexperienced to relationships and sex." Destiny, the older man, showing her the ropes, older man with power over her career, who's flown her out to like various like things, flown her out to Florida and to go to whatever podcast and all this shit, and humiliating Pixie, who had built her identity off of not getting her position by sucking Destiny's dick. Utter complete betrayal in so many ways, in so many levels. I just want to share this little bit here.
How's it going?
Hey, listen, first of all, many thanks for being a friend to my daughter.
Yeah, no problem.
She doesn't have any friends.
That's not true.
Wow. Well, no problem. Look at his face. Look at this fucker's face. What a great friend that Destiny is to all these women. Frankly, every dad should be sending their daughter to Destiny to e-rape. Let me see if yo. Here we go. How do I There we go. Why is Destiny spiraling so bad? He is facing legal repercussions from multiple people. They're all coming out of the woodwork. Everything that Mr. Girl wished would have happened is now currently happening. And Destiny is now under threat of legal action, unable to say anything. Only thing he can possibly do is ban people like J-Stock platforming Mr. Girl, who are just giving... if you want somebody to give a very level-headed analysis, is probably honestly Mr. Girl. I mean, he's a little bit invested at this point, so maybe not. It would have been him a while back, but yeah, and he's gonna ban it. Mention of this in his community, and he's gonna try to silence it and stifle the discussion. But he can't. His hands are tied a bit, so there's not much he can do himself. He alluded to Pixie, like kind of like a little bit of a slight on her character by saying that she was so President Sunday created this narrative in his fucking cowardly piece that Pixie was extorting Destiny because President Sunday's position has been that it's immoral to leak these things, even if it's on behalf of the greater good, if it goes against what the wishes of the victim is. And so he has said that, well, because Pixie tried to extort him, he can leak it, and it doesn't matter what she thinks anymore, which is really cowardly. And he's now like, it also involves victim blaming, and he's just doing that as a justification for his own immoral actions, which he should just own. If he wants to do this, he should just own it and say that he was doing this for the greater good, and he cares about the danger and the threat to future victims more than he cares about Pixie in this instance. And that's the position he would have to take, but he didn't. Destiny alluded to Pixie being trying to take advantage of him and, get money out of him or anything. It was Dan who told Pixie to try to get money and not to take legal action. It was, and Pixie actually, she actually asked Destiny to give $1 million to a charity, because it doesn't even matter if she gets the money. She just wants him to face serious repercussions so that he never will do this again, so that he will think twice about ever doing this again, because she believes he will. And it's clearly that, he clearly will, unless he faces repercussions. Young Chill says, were there any accusations before this? Yes. Just a few months ago, like I was just saying, Lauren de Laguna was saying that he is recording his sex acts without the knowledge or consent of his partners. Everybody said that she was crazy and shot her down, and it turns out that she was right. There has been a number of things. The abuse. Look at the fucking Mr. Girl report. The clear cut abuse of Anna. Smearing her as crazy while sexting her in the background. The first-hand testimony of Brittany Simon saying that Destiny, pausing a dinner party so that he can manipulate Anna so that he can try to get narrative control over the situation. Yeah. Yo.
Yo.
Yeah.
One second. I gotta put this on my OBS. Hold up.
What's up?
What's up? Just chilling. How are you? Oh, I can't cam up in this channel.
Oh, you can't? Oh wait, let me try to fix that.
Okay, no worries.
Can you do it now?
Not yet. Maybe if I rejoin,
No,
perhaps?
let me fix it. Hold on. I wasn't prepared for this. I don't use this function in my Discord very often. Let me just fix the roles. I once wrote a bot to fix how Discord roles work and permissions because it sucks and I can't just edit you on the fly. I need to do it through a role. Let's get this going. Let me go. Let me do it. Roles. Server settings. Where are my fucking roles? It's been forever since I looked at this at all. That's not it. There you go. That should work. Can you do it now?
No. Sorry. Well, yeah, it's grayed out. I can't even click on it.
Okay. There we go. I think I did it. There you go. Can you do it now?
Hey, there we go.
Okay.
Sweet. Awesome. How you doing, Smeth?
Good.
Good to hear. Long time no talk.
Yeah, no, long time no talk.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Yeah. So, let me get you up. Hold on. Window capture. So you.
Let me fix my OBS right quick.
So how do you feel about Mr. Girl now?
Yeah, so I haven't been on stream since talking to him, so my stream doesn't know. A lot of my stream probably doesn't even know Mr. Girl, but yeah, talked to him for the first time ever.
Quiet for me.
Yeah, you might have to turn me up on Discord. My mic is just dog shit right now. Sorry.
All right.
But yeah, I had never spoken to him before. I feel like there was like a lot of talk of him. Like I had seen some of his content, some of his appearances on other streams, but there's like this general consensus from DGG that he was like evil, bad pedophile, bad person.
Yeah.
And no one really told me directly not to talk to him other than Brittany. Other people were just like, oh, he's horrible, but Brittany's like, yeah, you should never talk to Mr. Girl. And you know, her and I recently we don't talk, so considering some recent events going on, I was like, you know, I'd be curious what it's like to actually talk to this human being, because I've only known him as like a content creator, like entity, like villain,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Do you think that Brittany Simon do you think she told
Yeah.
other people not to talk to him?
I would assume so. Yeah, that with the way it was said. Yeah,
she's really stupid.
I'm pretty sure. I think she's probably telling people not to talk to me now too, and that's a whole other thing. But
yeah, I feel like she probably played a role in the flop or the failure of Max to get people to come out regarding the Destiny report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was quite complicated. Like my aftermath from the the streams and everything like a little over a year ago because I kind of felt like maybe Brittany was reaching out like to be supportive, but it just felt like she was just trying to kind of capitalize off the, controversy, like looking back. And that's okay. Like a lot of people are doing that, but she doesn't seem very welcome to push back on her own things. So that typically that's I don't know. I don't really like that kind of behavior because if you're gonna push back on other people, you should be open to it. I'm personally open to it. It's like she was simultaneously like villainizing Destiny, but it seems like she kind of villainizes everyone else, and she kind of postures herself as like the most healed, is
Yeah,
what
with
I
their
feel
whole
from that at
level
least.
system.
Yeah,
All right, I've got
yeah.
I've got a whole bunch of Or you am I interrupting something? You had another part of
I
that.
was thinking of another thing, but it wasn't just Brittany though. Like it was also kind of Lav too, and that thing like that conversation between Lav and Destiny. I was a little awkward because I was like felt like I was kind of intruding on some personal things, and I didn't really know what to make of it.
What are you talking about?
And they're sexual things, but I mean, it was made content, so that is like I guess it became like public information.
What do you mean by
But
what do you mean
I
by
guess like what
intruding
I'm
on it?
saying, like, so Lav and I were having a conversation, and she told me something like really serious that like after she got all the hate that she did, she was in the hospital. And I was like, holy shit, that's like not good. Like this is something that should probably be
Hmm.
addressed, like the way that we treat each other online. But then it felt like kind of she was like shrugging it off, and I don't know, maybe she's just
Yeah, she
used to
was in
it and like it's
denial.
kind of like it is with the way that it
Yeah, she
is.
went through
But
a whole denial phase where she was trying to make excuses for Destiny and DGG. Yeah.
like, oh, it's the whole internet that's like that. But it's really not.
It's not the
It's
whole
really not.
internet. No.
Yeah.
No, it's
It,
it's
it
it's
encourages and normalizes that kind of
it's
behavior, I feel
cults.
like, for
It's
sure. But
internet cults that are like that. It's not the whole internet. Like
yeah.
famously, a go-to example is like Hassan's community. Well, like Hassan like spews a lot of bullshit and everything. His community doesn't like swarm people like that, and it's really big.
Right. Right. And I hear a lot of DGG, especially lately, trying to say like Hassan's community is just as bad. But I feel like Hassan kind of ignored a lot for a long time and only started like really addressing it recently. And it honestly, I I don't want to be arrogant and say I might have been a catalyst for that, but like I understood like there's valid criticism, but like when I kind of had my big blow up on the stream, it was like when you're saying in a serious manner, this streamer, this person is a bad person, they should commit suicide in a very serious way directed at both Mike and Hassan. I feel like that's just going too far. And so yeah, for the longest time I did see Hassan ignore it. And it just yeah, no, like I really just don't feel like we should be saying things like that. And a lot of people, told me to off myself because I was triggered by it or whatever, or get off the internet if you're too sensitive. But I've been on the internet for over a decade. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
stay
think
here,
that.
and I feel like it doesn't have to be like that.
So, do you think that Hassan like weaponizes his community against people the way Destiny does?
I would say not in the same way, but I do feel like a lot of big streamers can kind of like fall into the like my community's backing me up, so therefore I'm right. But I wouldn't.
That's
say
not what I'm.
it's
That's different. That's
weaponized
different.
in that way. It's not like weaponized, I would say.
Well, like your community is backing you up, therefore I'm right. But I feel like, so for instance, Wick the other day asked. He got a super chat. This is before it came. The videos came out about Pixie, and before Pixie was officially pressing charges. Wick got a super chat asking him. He's like asks Destiny. So what about the accusations of you leaking unconsensual sex tapes? And
Right.
Destiny's immediate response was to threaten Wick and say, "Oh, I've got a lot of super chats for you." Wick's like somebody with like 50 viewers average, and Destiny, with somebody with like
Yeah.
7K viewers average. So he's like saying, "I want my like if you continue, I'm gonna sick my community on you." Like he's like, "I'm gonna say that you are a valid target," and like that's a threat. And I don't think Hassan does that. I don't think that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not to that degree at all.
Yeah, I just think that Hassan is an idiot and audience captured.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I've heard some things through the grapevine, directly from, like Hassan's past partner. He's not a perfect person. A lot of people get me misconstrued when I criticize Destiny or DGG that I'm some like devout Hassan follower. I think they're projecting, honestly, because I'm honestly an observer. Like, I probably knew about Hassan and Destiny around the same time. I kind of watched their friendship. I watched how things have like devolved over the years. They're both deeply not perfect people, but yeah, no, I would absolutely say that Hassan does not intentionally brigade people in the way that I've seen DGG do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They might say some off comments here and there in the Discord, sure, but it's not
I just want to make that clear, because
the intention. I don't feel like
if you just start going off about how Hassan's community is sometimes similar to DGG, I think that does a lot too. In this moment, I feel like that is very like that gives a lot of credence to various arguments that DGGers that are still on the Destiny train are going to use to shut down criticism. So
Right.
That's why I'm pressing you on that.
like everybody's bad kind of thing.
Yes, yes, and also I see the criticism that from so many fucking dumb people. I saw it from Brianna Wu, and I saw it from Counterpoints, who is now just like manly Brianna Wu. But like this argument that, oh well, like Destiny's a bad guy, he's a gooner, so Pixie should have known better if she's gonna
He's just an innocent gooner. Like, no,
yeah, he's just a gooner.
That's bullshit.
And I was saying before you hopped on, like to my chat, like that makes me so furious, because gooning saves lives, Destiny ruins lives.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different thing. Like gooning somebody who's like viewing adult content or whatever, and they're like even in their room for days at a time doing that, as long as they're not hurting someone or violating someone's consent, like it's a completely different thing.
It's fun. It's jerking off is fun. Gooning is fun.
Right.
That's not.
Like,
it's
I've
not.
heard people,
I goon.
like,
I'm a
yesterday I was
gooner.
hearing people dismiss it.
I'm a gooner, and
Yeah,
I don't.
no, there's nothing wrong with gooning.
I don't release people's sex tapes, and I don't record people without permission. I'm not a sex criminal, and I don't think so. When you use the word gooner to kind of like, oh no, he's not a sex criminal. He's just a gooner. He's just horny. He's just horny. And you're basically saying boys will be boys. No.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I've heard people like compare it to, well, like at least it's not rape, but I feel like we should absolutely like, like if someone steals something from your house, they're still stealing from your house. Like, yeah, at least they didn't burn your house down and commit arson, but it's still like wrong. You shouldn't do that to people. You shouldn't violate people's consent and normalize it. And honestly, this was like the first topic of interaction I ever had publicly with Destiny. I had like a offhand DM of me sending him a poodle pic or something, that I was like, this poodle looks like you. But other than that, like the first real interaction where I was like, okay, I'm gonna put myself in the line of fire and I'm gonna go on stream because this point he's making is stupid. And that point was that if a girl invites a guy over, the guy can reasonably expect the girl, of course, wants to have sex with him. So he clearly has like a distortion and a misconception of what consent is and where it should be given and what implications of things are.
Right.
And like when someone sends you explicit content, that doesn't imply you can do whatever you wish with that. That's obviously something that you need to verify with them. Like, hey, is this just for me or can I share this?
Right. Also, that position is completely undermined by the asinine position that he was taking when it was, what is her name? Merc off the perk said the other day the other week that and he completely shut her down and ostracized her and made her look crazy because she wanted to add her small story to what's going on, and she said that she went over to stay the night at Destiny's house and they were cuddling, and Destiny made a move. He put his hand between her legs and then she moved it away. And her thing was that after that night, then he distanced himself from her and stopped replying and stopped messaging her, and that made her feel bad. Her point wasn't that it was wrong for him to make a move. Her, like, because she was like, once we're cuddling, like, it's okay for you to try it. Like, just like, you know, we're literally spooning. You can like put your hand between my legs and just feel things out. That's normal. Everybody does that. But and Destiny's,
to clarify, to her account, she was in some way like outcasted for not following through.
Really?
Is that what you're saying?
No. He stopped talking to her because she didn't follow through, which is also okay. It's just shitty. It's just because that makes it clear that all he wanted was sex, and it's okay to be an asshole that all you want is sex, but it still does make you an asshole for sure. Yeah. And so that's like, a good.
About that. That's not doesn't make them bad. They don't need to be attacked because they're like, hey, I had this experience. That
right, and so that's just a story about his character, like being like a sex addict and only interested in women for sex, which is not a crime. It's just an impunity on his character, but not a crime. He took it as if you are making a false claim of a sex crime, and he made it seem like when she said that he made a pass, that was him breaking consent, when she's like, no, it was not, it was normal. And he's acting like it would be crazy to make a pass like that without asking permission. You're painting me as a crazy person. That's because he clearly was paranoid because of all he knows what's going to happen, because he's a chronic
so much conflict.
He's misunderstanding on purpose, because he is a chronic breaker of consent. He literally, like, he is admitted in DMs that have leaked of him that he'll take his phone out when he goes out on Grindr expeditions to suck dick and record people without, like, he in his own words in messages has said that he's done that.
Him saying that. I just saw everything that came out November or whatever in passing. I was just kind of like, I've seen things like over the past year where I'm like, oh, that kind of verifies, like, you know, what I was trying to say and like the direction I was trying to go towards. Because to me, it felt like the criticisms I was giving him, it did not seem warranted for him to then go back to DMs about 6 months prior and use something completely unrelated that we already should have been like good about, but as ammunition to prove that I was like this crazy, like, gold digging woman or something like that. So right. It's like he clearly has this pattern of whenever he gets any kind of pushback, it's like, okay, well, look how evil this person is.
Yes.
What are you gonna ask?
So what was your story again, if you don't mind? Like, what happened with you and Destiny?
I mean, like, one of the big points I was trying to make was just like the suicide thing, because it was like a private phone call that I had with him where he had seriously doubled down on, you know, how he wanted Lav to commit suicide because she tried to ruin his life. And that was it, like, you know, I don't have a recording of that. I don't record private calls and stuff like that, but he absolutely did say that to me, and I kind of pushed back on it. I was like, well, okay, well, and this was before it became public, and this is why I brought it up publicly. I was like, well, what about Byron, you know? And he's like, well, Byron was on his way out anyways. I'm like, okay, that's fucked. And so I sat with that information, waited to say something else, to get on his stream or say something about it, like, really. But like, I knew it was fucked up. I knew the way he was treating people was fucked up, and I'm like, I don't know how to address this. I was going to get on his stream and talk about Israel Palestine, but right before that, I had heard him say the thing about like Hassan and Mike should kill themselves. They're spreading misinformation and the world would be better off without them. I was like,
that's okay. What Destiny said.
So that's what he said right before I got on stream. So people will twist it and frame it as I was just trying to hurt him. But it was like him literally saying like that.
You were just giving him criticism.
Is why I brought it up. I was like, yeah, like, I don't think Byron was on his way out. I think there's absolutely things that will push people over the edge when they're already suffering. and that the internet can absolutely be one of those things. And if anybody devalidates that and dismisses that, they unfortunately or fortunately haven't had someone close to them take their lives yet.
Yeah,
And that's a good thing, but unfortunately these things do happen, and I think people should be a little bit more cautious, especially when they have such huge platforms
they're
with advocating for those things, especially hearing that Lav did end up in the hospital. And
yeah,
you know,
she
I
was
was in the hospital
suicidal.
over May, and that was different, but
Yeah, and
it
him
connects. It's like part of it.
and he's also in his statement he
Thank you.
believed he downplayed um the suicidality of Pixie and implied that that was a tactic to like gain leverage and not like a genuine. But like if you know or follow like Pixie or anything, like she's not a Machiavellian manipulator. She's like just like
No, she's very like sweet. Like I've watched her over the years. Like I don't feel any animosity. Like maybe too sweet for her own
he
good. I
paints
actually
these
heard
women
that
like
Destiny made a comment that he could never turn Pixie against him or something.
yeah.
I heard someone, yeah, like he was arrogant
Well,
about
I
it.
wonder
She
why.
was
It's
so
because
sweet that he was convinced she would never turn
we know
him.
that he had blackmail material, so maybe that was. I mean, that is just my theory.
Sorry, I got a snack.
So you're saying that he told you that he wishes that Lav would commit suicide because
He said it on stream. He said Lav should kill herself on stream. I called him on the phone because that was one of the things where I was like, maybe like no matter how much I had already before entering this orbit knew it was like kind of toxic. He said that point and I was like, I know I'm gonna get backlash, but I need to like counterpoint this fucked up thing that's being said. So he said the thing about Lav on stream, and that was like around the time I think like after TwitchCon, like all this stuff like started unfolding. He was like saying all these people he was associating with were BPD and problematic and just using him, but he's using people too, obviously. And so he said around that time that, you know, Lav should commit suicide. Shortly after that, I tried to talk to him one-on-one. I did talk to him one-on-one. And I was like considering walking away from the entire thing after that comment was made, depending on his response. And I just told you the response he gave on the phone. And he said, yeah, she tried to ruin my life. Of course she should kill herself. And it was like the similar energy that he gave when he said that, you know, Hassan and Mike from PA should kill themselves because they're spreading misinformation and the world would be better off without them. And it's one thing to have like edgy humor and that kind of thing, one thing to be pissed off at someone, but just each time I checked in with him before bringing it up on stream, he was like, yeah, yeah, of course. So
well, he's also
I
on
don't,
he's on the
yeah.
record for we're actually planning out a murder of somebody who DDoSed his stream. That's the
I know
first
he doxed someone who
the first thing in the Destiny
gave
report.
his location. I saw that.
The first thing in the Destiny report is earlier on in his career he was getting DDoSed, and at that point in the history of the internet, that meant that he couldn't stream and it was destroying his ability to make an income, which is big deal to him. So he mapped out the guy's like streets. He got a gun and he planning on killing the kid, but because there was no other thing he could do. That's his story he's told, and he's not even said that was like unhinged or anything. He's like that, like he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because they're like, if you're literally destroying my livelihood and you're coming after me, like, what am I supposed to do? Like you're literally destroying my life, then I have to take my life into my own hands. He's actually like made that argument.
So that's actually, so he, after that big blow up in October, November of 2023 that I had on a stream, I cried and whatever, all that shit. So he had said he would not be willing to talk to me one-on-one because I asked him to talk one-on-one for closure because the whole thing, like I was stress vomiting, I was not okay. People were telling me to kill myself, like after the thing, and I had wanted to talk with him for closure because he had said like a lot of really awful things to try and get his community to go harder on me, to demonize me. And so I'm like, this feels not right. And also it was being portrayed that I was trying to use Byron, but it wasn't accounted for that I had actually talked to Byron shortly before he committed suicide. And my partner worked for Byron. And it was just framed as this like sinister thing. So I was trying to talk with him for closure. He refused to talk to me unless it was he could use it for stream content. So eventually, months later, I would see him on some Dr. K things here and there, and I'd be like, okay, well, like maybe he'd be open to it, because I started to be able to empathize with him more because he shared some more vulnerable things about him with Dr. K, and I'm like, okay, I can see how he ended up this way. And so I did end up talking with him on the phone, and this is a justification he will give, and it sounds like he has given for a long time, that, okay, well, you think I'm bad. I'm reacting. You should see what this climate's like. You should see how bad these people are. Like, you don't understand. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like, I probably don't. But, like, it's just, and this is the point I was kind of making on Twitter to Wick when Wick was getting some hate from Mike for wishing Loaderbox well, is that when you have this cycle, and like even if Wick doesn't I want to identify with this, but DGG as a whole has harassed Hassan, has harassed Mike, has harassed all of these other people. It's like, unfortunately, when your top viewed content is Destiny, a lot of people are going to associate you with that, and it just keeps fueling this conflict cycle. Every time that Destiny is criticizing Hassan and saying, well, Hassan's a terrorist, or Hassan's platforming terrorists and all these terrible people, it just keeps fueling this chaos, that, you know, unfortunately these people, they profit from it. So part of me is like, is this all staged? Is this all orchestrated? But Destiny has said repeatedly he doesn't stage things, that this is his real life.
That's how he is.
So it's,
well, I think,
yeah,
yeah.
I question whether or not it's healthy. And I think we're seeing the repercussions of
I
it.
think Mike from PA is a good example, because Mike from PA is like, so Hassan, honestly, I think Hassan he's not evil. He's just a fucking retard. He can be an idiot. Like, he's a retard. He, like, him bringing on like a terrorist he's a whatever. Mike from PA is an asshole. And so, like, assholes on the internet, like, you can have like mud fights and stuff. But in the case of Destiny versus Mike from PA, and I mean, I don't like Mike from PA. I think he's a fucking asshole. But in the case of Destiny versus Mike from PA, it's like George Floyd, like, knee on his neck. You know what I mean? Forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now I feel like that narrative is actually being spun towards Mike. Like, Mike's the bigger creator and Wick's the smaller one, so Wick's the victim. But it's like people wouldn't address that narrative before while it was happening to Mike. So it makes sense that Mike has a lot more animosity built up from that, I guess, knee on the neck situation, if that's how you want to compare it.
Yeah. He's a fucking asshole. But it doesn't.
Yeah,
What I'm saying.
mean,
What I'm saying is, point I'm trying to
yeah.
make is, him being a fucking asshole doesn't justify, like, so, like, somebody DDoSing you doesn't justify going to their house and killing them. You know, somebody like somebody making a sexual misconduct or a sex crime accusation doesn't justify like smearing them and leaking. Like, Destiny has a history of threatening to leak, like nudes of people, revenge porn, saying, like, if you come at me and you're trying to, if I look bad, if you throw my reputation in the dirt, well, there's nothing for me to lose, so I'm going to destroy your reputation and destroy your life. And he's like on the record, like, saying that's actually his, like, position. It's a consistent position that he has.
It doesn't have to be like that, but he's so used to it.
And he's such a powerful man that he doesn't actually, and he's way too quick to even get into that mind state. Like, but also, he is like a sex criminal. He did leak Pixie's like porn. Like, I'm hearing things like behind the scenes, but like we do have like 100% confirmation that he did like spread around her porn. Now there's another accusation from Cherry. I don't know if you're familiar. This is the new.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I actually made contact with Cherry because we had, I believe, like, we were a little bit at odds at first, because it was, I don't exactly remember how I said it or what I said, but when I was leaving Destiny's stream, when we had the falling out, I made like a 15-2 comment or whatever, and it was just to further emphasize that Destiny treats people like they're using him, but he doesn't acknowledge how he uses other people. And so, like, me and Cherry kind of had some friction for a minute, but I saw her post, I just reached out and I sent her support.
Really
because
quick,
I don't think that's fair at all, what happened to her.
Yeah. I just wanted to add really quick, when he makes the point that people are using him, what he's really like, that's like a really clever and snide or sneaky way of saying you have more to gain from me than I have to gain from you. And which is really more of a kind of like has a threat baked into it. Like
I mean, I heard some streamers like talking yesterday that I think are in support of Destiny still right now, who were saying, you know, like I would have just taken the money because like all the connections and you know, like it's money, like right. But I'm just like, oh, maybe if you make if your vested interest is making your money from DGG, which mine is not, which is why I believe I'm so spoken, and maybe some people who align closer with DGG or maybe Pixie for a long time didn't speak out. It seems like she's been heavily involved for years since she was 19, and like it's harder to speak out when you're like deeply enmeshed with it. But I would say very outside of it. I don't need money from Destiny. I don't need clout from Destiny. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I believe in certain things that I want to express. And a lot of people like, yeah, they do make all of their money because of DGG, which is crazy.
it's hard to say no.
Yeah. It's how you survive in this world. Ultimately, you can be like above it if you want, but ultimately if you're, you know, near starvation, like honestly, I'm kind of proud of JSTLK for making the stance he did. I was worried he was going to be like just in defense of the whole thing.
He's been banned from DGG. This might be really
that,
yeah, it might be really bad for his career, but he's taken a stand for.
I commented in support of Pixie because I would love to see Pixie do things outside of DGG too if she doesn't want to be associated with that anymore. And I just like hope people can see their ability to provide for themselves and still be a creator outside of, you know, that specific group, because it's not the end all be all of it.
I want to I have like some stuff like prepared. I just
okay, cool.
Let's check this out. Hold on. I got this clip of hold on. Got this clip of Destiny talking to Bob 7. Hold on.
Okay, so I'm gonna say where I'm at with this. I barely know Bob 7. I saw some of the manifestos Destiny put out over the years. I used to watch Raj Patel, Austin show quite a bit. I heard of the I forget his name, Claw stuff. I don't know much about Bob 7 at all.
This is not. You don't need to know anything about Bob.
He looks okay.
You don't need to know anything about Bob 7 for this clip. This is more just like what Destiny says in the clip. Hold on.
I have friends that are girls that I don't, believe it or not. You should know a great deal about this.
I'm not sure. Did
What?
you make another account to troll me on? I'm sorry, I was talking to my chat. I'll mute for that.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I have friends that are girls that I don't believe it or not. You should know a great deal about this because I'm sure you're friends with some girls and you've never cooned with a girl ever at all before. So
yeah, but I'm not an addict.
An addict of being friends with girls?
No, you were addicted to cooming.
I like to have sex. Is that a problem?
Yeah, but do you really respect these girls, Destiny?
Of course I do. I host them and everything. What do you mean?
Wow, you host them.
Yep,
so
I
it's
give
a
them
service.
Hosts. They get
okay. This sounds a little bit like prostitution.
Not prostitution
if you
at all.
let me,
that's just what
let's
listen,
Raj.
Another,
if you let me
because you know
coon,
what? I'm
I'll
friends
give you
with
a
all these
host.
people. I
I'll give you a
respect
host.
women. I love
I just
women
wanna
so
coon.
much. How many
I have
women
12,
careers?
and
Hey,
I'm just gonna.
Bob, how many women careers have you built on Twitch? How many women have you helped? Have you reached down and given hosts to or shout outs to that you even haven't even cooned with? What do you think, Bob? How many?
Here's the thing. I don't abuse power dynamics. This is part of the reason because I actually don't have power and you have power, but you abuse your power dynamics.
Bob, that's a reckless.
You realize
that's
that
reckless.
See why you went at him so hard. Wow.
Yeah, but I just think it's honestly kind of funny hearing him say, "Oh, how many women have you helped? I've helped so many women." But really, when he says that, he's like, I offer this olive branch, and like the women have so much to gain from me, and he records having sex with them without their consent, allegedly, and then leaks it not allegedly, and shares it around so that he can like barter for like to explain like or it's like a sexual resume. Like sharing it off, and it's so like Pixie, like her whole thing was like she was very inexperienced, and he like was basically the guy like showing her like the ropes, and then the context of him leaking that was like saying, look at this. This is an example of a blowjob that wasn't good. That's what he said to the 19-year-old.
Wait, is that what he said?
Yeah,
I didn't see. Okay, I didn't see details. I didn't dig for it. I saw what was like presented by like those people themselves. And I saw like a couple screenshots in passing, but I did not dig to see the actual substance of the content.
I didn't watch the video, but I know the messages leading up to it.
That's pretty awful. It's like not only is it a violation, but using it to dehumanize them and objectify them because like you don't care about the people involved, you care about the act that is being done to you, which is like that's exactly why I would say like a demisexual, and I'm very hesitant to get involved with people intimately, is because there's too many people who just objectify each other in intimate encounters, which I don't think is a necessary part of intimate encounters at all. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna turn the blur off because it seems like my video is lagging. Give me 1 second. Hopefully that's better. Apparently not. Okay. Here, let me turn off my cam on OBS. Maybe that does it.
See what else do I got here? What is this?
But I would say absolutely. It's over your forehead. That looks funny.
Oh yeah. My God, my computer can't really handle me doing all this stuff at the same time. It's not. I'm like upset.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be yours then, not mine. Okay, that makes sense.
A JStock tweet. Listen, I don't deny that Destiny shared sexual videos and images of people without their consent. Yes, I've heard that he even recorded some encounters without consent before sharing with them with randoms. But JStock, does that really excuse you from platforming Mr. Girl?
Okay, that's like the thing that not even just within this orbit, but about so many people that is annoying to me. It's like, okay, I'm doing this bad thing, but look over there. They're worse, but you can never just like actually sit with the thing that you're doing that could be harming people. Like it's, I don't know. It's such a cop out.
I feel like Mr. Girl, like his biggest crime is that his article like was unbearable to read, and like it wasn't a video. Like President Sunday, one of his criticisms to Mr. Girl is proven right. Excuse me, I got a notification from Adobe Creative Cloud. They're letting me know that there's a plugin updates available. President Sunday was proven right about one thing, that it would have been more effective against Destiny for the case that Mr. Girl wanted to make a video. President Sunday made a shitty video where he demonizes Pixie. I
haven't seen it.
He at the end, so he leaks this without
I heard them talking about it yesterday.
He leaks this without Pixie's consent about the about the story. He then justifies it by saying that Pixie asked for money, so she is therefore extorting Destiny, so she is also doing something bad, so now it's bad. That's just bullshit. It's called a settlement, not extortion, you fucking retard. But also, yeah, so like he smears Pixie at the end. So so President Sunday makes a shit video where he smears the victim. Great way to set her off on I'm gonna unleash your story on the world so that we can protect future victims, and I'm also gonna smear you, so I'm gonna throw you to the dogs. What a fucking asshole. But also he proved that he was right, that the way to go about this, the way that would have been most effective, was to make a video, and that the format of the article was bad. And my biggest, honestly, criticism was that the lav part was too long. It was like, I made a video about the Destiny report.
The Mr. Girl report?
Yeah.
The Destiny report?
Yeah, I made a video about it, and my video tanked as soon as the like lav stuff got like a little bit. He just put way too much of that, and it really bogs down the whole point he's trying to make because there's too much of it. But
Yeah, it got really chaotic because like I would say I see a lot of similarities between me and Lav, but a lot of differences as well. But like the kind of attitude where it's like you've been treated a certain way by men, so they're gonna treat you a certain way, so you're gonna just have fun with it. I feel like she kind of played into that. And that's kind of one of the things she said when she returned, and I spoke with her. She's like, I wish I would have at least like made money off of this, like because they, you know, used her for so much content, humiliated her, and so yeah, I feel like a lot of people would use her, and you know, she posted today, and I commented, I was like, that's crazy, like what Brianna Wu said to her about how she was like the villain, and Brianna Wu is this like monolith for victims, and I cringe at that. um because that's just, it just got so messy. And you know, I have my own criticisms of Lav. I've never really like talked with her about the meat of those. Maybe someday we'll talk about them, but at the same time, she's not like using her platform in these ways, and profiting off of the suffering of other people in those ways. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
you want to
it's
look.
hard
You want
to
to look
see
at the
her as
Brianna
the
Wu.
villain.
You want to look at the Brianna Wu tweet.
Yeah, if you want to share, or whatever you want to share.
So my computer doesn't like me fucking doing all these things at once. Okay, let's see if we can do this.
Let me open your stream real quick. Close it.
All right,
Probably be smart enough to keep my mouth shut. Okay, go ahead.
I'll read it if you want. Do you want to read it?
You can, since it's on your screen.
All right.
It's probably bigger.
I'll probably be smart enough to keep my mouth shut about this Destiny Pixie lawsuit. But here goes. I care about both of them. Pixie is a good friend and someone I've worked with on several projects. She's seriously talented, fun to work with, and complements my skills in a way that makes collaborations really rewarding. Before all this came up, yeah, she's such a narcissist. Before all this came up, I had planned to hire her for an upcoming project, and I'm sticking with that decision. For the record, brave of you, Brianna Wu, to stick with that decision and not fucking ditch Pixie after she presses charges on your beloved Destiny for like leaking her fucking sex video. So brave of you, Brianna Wu. Give yourself a pat on the back. For the record, following through on this hire isn't me taking sides. Oh, I'm not taking sides. Isn't me taking sides. I've made that clear to both her and people close to Steven. Well, thank you for letting us know. I feel so much safer around you, Brianna Wu, knowing that you're not taking...
She says people close to Steven because Steven's like this monolith of DGG that she has to hold on to for money and clout, but not actually directly talking to Steven, but you probably directly talking to Pixie. Like there's all these proxies between other people and Steven.
Well, like,
and it's like,
probably,
I would rather take what he's directly saying himself.
Probably Steven's sex crime secretary, who Erudite. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, like she said after I went on stream, without having context, without ever speaking to me, Erudite said what a horrible person I am. So, like, if Erudite ever wants to get to know me,
she
like,
is
those interviews
clearly
she's doing about niche women, I'm a niche woman.
She's clearly a horrible, horrible judge of character. So, of all the things, and that's basically her, the one skill that she seems to tout the most, as if she's a good judge of character. But I think that that's just to be a smokescreen. She's basically, a big part of her job is covering up for Destiny. So saying that your character is impugned is a part of her saying, "Oh, Destiny's so good all the time."
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately she did that.
Let me finish.
Ever talking to me once, she determined my character. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's like that, and she was willing to go on Moreau's stream. By the way, she was trying to get onto Moreau's stream. He's a guy who he's one of these drama like dipshits. I like him, but he's like one of the types of guys who thinks it's funny to just randomly call people pedophiles. He doesn't actually mean it, but he'll just start calling you a pedophile and like just yeah. And so and that should not be the type of person who she that's like she refuses to talk to.
I've never knowingly like wrongfully called someone a pedophile. Yeah, I've never done that, and I just like the harm of my character was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't tell people to kill themselves, and that made me like a special snowflake, so I should probably get off the internet or something. Like, I don't, if there's like a valid criticism of me that is actually accounting for the truth, like my side of it, I have not heard it yet. It seems like everyone just kind of ran with this narrative and just keeps copy pasting the same bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much of a moral criticism to be made of you, you know. Let me finish this. For the record,
Yes,
following through on this hire is not me taking sides. Just so you know. I've made that clear to both her and people close to Steven. They both deserve their day in court. And I'm not here to weigh in on what's ultimately between them. I have offered no opinion on this action privately and made it clear I cannot. I mean, this is an opinion, yes. They both deserve their day in court, is saying that Destiny potentially deserves justice, and as if something has happened to him that is wrong. Like, or like, because there's like, so like if you're saying they equally in the same way deserve their day in court, like you're saying they both deserve justice. No, like, so like, no, Destiny deserves his day in court because Pixie deserves justice. So yeah, the equivocation is saying that I think that equivocation is actually an underhanded way to say that Destiny is a victim. I just want to be honest about where I'm coming from. Adulting can be awkward like this. I do hope.
That part was weird. I saw this earlier skimming through Twitter, and that adulting part, I was like, what?
Yeah, how old is she?
Like,
how old is fucking Destiny? I mean, yeah.
Adulting is hard. I say that all the time. Like, I'm 28, but like still, like it's for this context, it felt a bit weird.
Yeah, adulting, you mean like it's adulting can be awkward. Yeah, no. Sometimes you just let a sex crime slip. Sometimes I'm having sex and I just like, oops, I really, really wanted to take my phone out and record you without your consent and knowledge, and then I wanted to share it with people, but it's so hard to be an adult. My God, it's just so hard to be an adult. Give me a fucking break.
So I'm gonna play Brianna's advocate. Okay, I don't know them that well, but like maybe a better way of phrasing something like that, with what I can perceive they may be trying to get across, is like holding people accountable, or like addressing problematic behavior with people we care about, because I'm assuming in some way they care about Destiny, can be complicated. But it's not like in an adulting is hard situation. Like, there's a nuanced conversation to have about, like, you know, cancel culture and the way that we've seen each other. Like, I don't know, Donald Trump's our fucking president, right? Like, clearly we're not doing a very good job of like healthily holding people accountable, because there's people like Darius who are freaking out, like, oh my God, you want Destiny to just die then, right? Like, you just want him to go away. It's like, no, like, there's a difference between like addressing something that is harmful and like wanting someone to just go die. It's like people are trying to work together.
See,
like, hey, this is complicated.
I don't read that in this at all. I don't see I don't see that in this at all.
Yeah.
You're not selling it to me.
I'm projecting a bit. Okay, so I don't know what Brianna's thinking, because I don't fucking know Brianna. But this is what I'm saying. If I were to like feel like I need to make a statement, say like Destiny's my friend. I don't talk to Destiny. He's called me a friend before, but I don't know what the fuck we are, because we don't have communication. But like, if I were to advocate for Destiny in some way, like him to grow from this, like it's pretty clear cut that nudes were shared. Like, in that, you know, without the other allegations that are put forward, that's enough to be like, hey, like, you need to be accountable for this behavior. You cannot do this to people.
Honestly, I feel like,
if you want to be a person in politics or anywhere.
I feel like at this point, I just don't care about him growing at all. I think that holding him accountable in like restorative justice for Pixie is what's most important. And then once that's done, then we can have a discussion about how we can help Destiny, how we can help poor Destiny.
Right.
It's just so hard to be an adult. It's so hard.
And Cherry directly, like, what they would want, honestly. Like, that's my curiosity, because I've heard from a lot of people in different dynamics, like, where something has been done to them, and they want different things. Like, some people are like, oh, I hope my abuser dies. And I think that's a bit extreme for, I would say, most cases. So I'd be curious. I do think that they want some kind of legal repercussion because they think that's the only thing
Pixie
at
said
this point that's going to get
she
through to him.
she wanted like him to give $1 million to a charity, not even to her, because she wants to make sure that he will never do it again. And I think that would be a good step to making sure he'd never do it again. But I think that you just don't understand, because you're clearly not an adult, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you what adults go through. Sometimes we just have to share private other people's sex tapes. It's just what adults got to do. It's what adult. It's one adult.
Here, buddy.
It's if you're one day when you grow up and you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, but I really want to share this with everybody.
It is so fucking normalized. And I have a direct experience with this because like the moment I took the internet as a child, which in like I worry sometimes, I think of course this thing is still happening. I hear stories about it all the time. I just don't know how deep it runs with people we see as public figures orchestrating some of these things. And it makes me worry because I had, explicit stuff of me leaked when I was young and I was treated like, oh, that's just normal. And I attempted to take my life at 15 years old because I believed that it was normal. So I do feel like it's our job to like work together to expose these things and be like, hey, no, it's actually not normal behavior to expect a girl to fuck you just because she invites you over.
Now the cherry,
like leak nudes or something like that, or record people without their consent.
Not only leaking nudes, the recording. Now that the cherry allegation has come out, like Destiny is looking a lot like Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's looking a lot like fucking like Dennis, like who like he does the same thing in the show. It's so Destiny has in the past, like he's presented himself in like such a way, like when I showed him like talking with Bob Seven, being like, I know you don't understand how many women that I've helped and saved and boosted and how good I am to women, but he's engaging with this, like he's sharing these like I've
it's a cope.
I've heard allegations. I've heard allegations of evidence out there that there is a lot more recordings that he has taken that are out there of people around him, and like I cannot confirm this, but I believe it. But like the way he. Like so it's like there's a lot of things that he's said in the past that are now like disgusting to hear, like things like when he's defending himself in like drama and stuff, he'll always say stuff like he'll record people in private calls and then he'll leak it out, and you're like, look, I record everything, I have to, I'm a private figure, I have to do that to protect myself. Well, now that we know that you literally go so far as to record every single sex act you do, that doesn't feel so good to hear.
So I knew a guy who I was roommates with who did this very similarly. He recorded me while I was topless in my own kitchen. He was my roommate at the time. He recorded me topless in my own kitchen in case I ever came out about him, so he could prove that he didn't do anything in a room with me while I was topless.
That is so fucking stupid.
That video. And he sent me a picture of the files he has of like all these recordings from different encounters in his life. He screamed in my face and called me a narcissist. Like, and he's just so preemptively like, I'll get them before they get me mentality. And it's like, I feel like so many people do not fucking realize that like you're self-fulfilling prophecy. You're creating the problem. Like something must have happened to you, but like, do you see like that maybe all these other people in your life aren't the villain? And maybe you're contributing to this cycle of toxicity. Like, and also, like, I think, unfortunately, Destiny in some weird way gets off on it and gets off on these conflict cycles, which is, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Bro.
Yeah, that is psychopath shit, dude. So he's like, how about, He I remember him so many times being like when like talking in all these like fucking arguments and like these conversations, he talks how much every time I have sex I'm constantly checking in about consent. Like I'm constantly negotiating consent during sex. He called Max a rapist for talking about the blurriness of consent at all, and Turns out he's like literally like secretly recording people and sending people's like sex videos and like sex tapes to people. Like so all this shit that you said about consent was all a fucking lie.
Yeah. I mean, and what I was talking about earlier is like, yeah, like the prevalence of these things. I honestly appreciate people who can speak about like the nuances and the blurriness of things, or their misunderstandings or their mistakes, people who can openly talk about that without pointing the finger at people. I actually admire that, because like I've experienced a lot of people being sex pests and things towards me. So when Andrew Callahan, for example, was outed as a sex pest, I actually really appreciated that he actually addressed the normalization of that behavior. Yes, it doesn't make it better that he conducted himself that way, but it just makes it better for people to be willing to admit their wrongs and like the normalization.
So you're talking about Max
around these toxic behaviors.
Max talking about his experiences.
Yes, I both admire Max and I would say Andrew Callahan, because Andrew Callahan was outed as these things and he actually addressed it without like trying to sweep or whatever. He was like, hey, I did this and this is wrong and I've learned from this. And it doesn't, yeah, like automatically make it better, but it makes me feel a lot better for people to address it than to continually sweep and push it into the shadows, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that this, I think, brings into context is Melina going around in private talking to people. She talked to Brittany Simon, she talked to Max, she talked to Chud Logic. These are 3 examples talking about how she thinks that Destiny's abusive. By the way, she came out in support of Pixie. Melina, Destiny's ex-wife.
Melina did. I saw Melina shared the post.
Yeah. So this isn't looking good for for Destiny. Like, is he gonna have to smear every woman that's ever been in his life now?
That's the thing. I felt like something about the way I was treated was off and wrong. I felt it was reminiscent to Lav, but people just kept continuously comparing me to her and to Mike from PA and to Katie, and Zonia would make her live streams calling me Cluster B or whatever.
She's fucking crazy.
And so I was like, yeah, there's something off about the way that I'm being treated, but you know, like I can't fight this whole battle. I got to focus on my life right now. So it's seeing, though, shortly after that, the way that Destiny conducted himself during his breakup with Melina, I was like, it's not just me. It is not just me.
Yeah.
This is his fucking MO. This is what he loves doing.
Yes.
Turkey Tom made the fucking Melina is terrible video. Like,
yeah, fucking Turkey
shit,
Tom is this fucking
orchestrated.
sweeping. Yeah. All these people fucking constantly sweeping and constantly like putting terror in if you speak out. Well, this time they can't fucking terrorize you. There's a lot of strength in numbers. What is like, so like, what is he gonna do? Like, is he gonna like try to smear every single woman? Like you, like Lav, Melina, like they're every woman I've ever talked to, all these women are crazy. Like what is he gonna like fucking like be like I can imagine like a naked in like a padded wall like smearing. They're all crazy. They're all crazy bitches. They're all crazy bitches.
So I think I have solved my BPD right here and right now. I think I have solved it.
Good.
It first popped up when I went on 4chan. It first popped up when I went on 4chan, okay? And then from there, bro, getting my nudes passed around at 13, 14 years old, along with videos of me cutting myself because I didn't know how to handle grown men manipulating me at the ripe age of fucking 13, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I think that caused my BPD. I think that caused my fucking BPD. This is like a revelation right now. Like,
hey, I'm not judging you if you're having
no
BPD.
way.
You're welcome. Go, BPD all you want. Come at me, motherfucker. BPD me. I don't give a shit. Come at me, bite me.
So
I don't
many
care.
people though will be like, "Oh, she has BPD. She's crazy." Where did the BPD first start? What happened to them? What crazy motherfucker put it in their head that they were the villain, the problem, while they were manipulating them and abusing them and sexually extorting them? You know what I mean? Like, there are many adults who should have made me feel safe when I was 13 who literally tried to prostitute me. Like, one of my best friend's dads offered me $1,000 to sleep with him when I was 13 years old. Like, there is a huge problem with the way that women are objectified and money is just thrown at women. And like, and I'm a sex worker, so like, you know, like I feel like I have a right to talk about this. There's people who support me, who empower me, but then there's people who think that they can just throw money at something to do any fucked up thing they want. And that doesn't fucking fly for me. And it doesn't fly for
yeah. That's
you know?
well. That's the
like
that's
apparently Pixie too. Consent matters.
That's a lot of the DGG kind of argument is like, well, what about the money? Like you're getting so much from Destiny, and so like, and I feel like oh, he offered you money, whatever. It's like counterpoints like was like mentioned like so alluded to this in some way. I forget exactly what, but they have this attitude of, well, whatever bad stuff you go through, if you get enough money from it, then it's justified. No, that's a bad system. The money is the system, and the money is the pressure, and we need money. We need money to survive. And just because like you get money doesn't mean it's justified to go through crazy shit. Like we're trying to like improve the world. Like if you go down that path, you can make the world worse and worse. You can have child labor. You can like have like crazy shit. I don't even think that we should have like sex work. I'm not gonna like tell you like whatever. Do you. You know what I mean? But like
that's why I'm very open about why I started doing sex work. Which a part of that was because people leaked my nudes anyways. So that's actually a big part of.
You were born into this.
Honestly,
you were born into this. You like what is the Bane quote? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they made you a sex worker.
Yeah, I was born in the darkness.
Yeah,
molded by it. Literally, though, literally, pedophiles turned me into a sex worker. If you really want to think about it, and I think there is an empowering context in which to share your like natural body. Like I think that's fine. But the fact that like that was a major decision maker for me was that, okay, people are blackmailing me anyways. I might as well do it. You know, that's fucked up. That is fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's
okay. I'm gonna give you a powerful tool. I'm gonna give you a powerful manipulative abusive tool. But it's also a fact. Okay, so there's always an argument. So like DGG knows these arguments very well. There's always an argument to be made for a victim being part of the problem. Always. And in the case of like, I don't know, like when you're talking about you having BPD and people like complaining or whatever, I'm guessing like people are saying, oh, like they don't like how you're treating them or whatever. I don't know what it is, but people are complaining about your behavior in some way, in some context of your life. Something I learned, I've learned is that, like, especially with something like BPD, if you don't have boundaries with somebody, then what it means is people have to have boundaries with you, and if they don't, they're part of the problem. Like a lack of boundaries, it creates a bad system, and I'm not articulating this well, but in a way, it's like a part of why Destiny has these problems with these orbiters is he has no boundaries. He's mixing his sex life and his professional life. That creates a fucked up system with fucked up incentives.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know how you can use that for your own personal life, but you can tell people.
I would definitely say I had to learn boundaries like the hard way, right? But I feel like naturally, you know, in my case, like that, you know, kind of thing began when I was very young. And I was never taught boundaries by my family unit. So I just kind of went online, didn't have them. And that obviously was a disaster. And so, had to learn them the hard way. But I would say like in Pixie's case, being very young, coming into communities where they will intentionally exploit your lack of boundaries, like it's very sinister dynamic. And yeah, I would say like Pixie probably had to like learn the hard way, as like a lot of people do, because it's often not taught.
Destiny showed her the ropes. He showed her the ropes. She was a naive and new to like not had a lot of sex, and he showed her the ropes in more ways than she was hoping for, and that it will impact her for the rest of her life.
I mean, I think she can come back from this, absolutely, but it is still traumatizing. Like I would
That's what
say
I'm
the stuff
saying.
that I experienced, over a decade ago, yeah, it still impacts the way that I navigate. And that's probably why like a lot of people say me crying on stream is me using my ultimate or me being manipulative, but it's like I've, kind of stacked all these like different triggers from, largely growing up online, that it's like when I realized that, oh, the world is still this way, and it's like I can have boundaries, but then just like that knowingness that like, okay, well, other people who are like me when I was younger are still getting and taken advantage of. They're still getting, like they're still having that treatment unless, something's said about it, which is why I felt to insert myself in these places where people are saying, well, if you can't handle it, don't be in this space because it's toxic and that's just the way it is. I don't think I don't think a lot of people are like they're happy about the community part, about the ability to collaborate with each other, do these things together, but I don't think the toxic part is necessarily what a lot of people are really hanging on to as the most important part.
Yeah. Can I send? I want to send.
Lag and it seems.
Oh, can you see it? Can you see my stream?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Let's watch this. Hold on. I need to do this. That.
Yeah, I saw this person saying these things, but I have no idea who they are, so I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what this is. This is this
I know
the
Androider. I've recently.
the context of this
Oh,
it's just this is
you're
just
playing the video. Okay.
this is a video. Wait, I didn't turn the audio on. This is just a statement from Max.
Yeah, so it's another thing of just like if you don't want it to get out, then why are you telling all these people? And it's basically him leaking it. I don't know why it took 2 years for it to be made public, like public or confirmed. But I don't, the whole like I told this person I trusted them, they betrayed me. That just feels like it's part of this weird pattern of leaking shit that you know is going to get out.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I think you guys have it.
That's what I'm talking about with like lack of boundaries. Like Destiny. Well, I mean that's an example of lack of boundaries. Destiny fucking constantly sending these things. Like it's been known that he's been doing this, and it finally like bit him in the ass.
Right.
Like to like just some random 19-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Like.
Right.
Yeah, but he's
it's
adulting's hard. Adulting's hard.
Yeah. Like the age of Milena, like the age difference, and that's like when Milena was being villainized, no one was taking into account the age difference. And from my experience being in relationships with like barely a 5-year age gap, I know how much that makes a difference one way or the other. Like, and they're I think a larger age gap than that, anyways. And it seems like Destiny just keeps being attracted to these like 19-year-old girls, and it's like he has to acknowledge like both the viewer and the age power dynamic in that situation. Of course, like if he's going to complain about them being immature or BPD or whatever, of course like the people who are much younger than you are going to be less self-actualized and have weaker boundaries than you at 30 something years old.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay to like honestly you can hook up with a 19-year-old, but like you can't like hook up with a 19-year-old and then have them on your stream and then smear them and then tell everybody they're crazy. And you can't send a 19-year-old like sex like videos of, I mean, regardless of how old they are, but you can't send them videos of yourself having sex with other people. All right, this is almost done.
Tendency to narrativize in a way I don't feel is super necessary. But I'm trying to suppress my urge to like correct or point it out. I just think like obviously when we have like stuff like this, like I just keep seeing, I keep seeing, I think this is number 6 of a person who's either received or had their shit sent. So it's like,
so six is hard to say. It was leaked without my knowledge or.
Thank you, huge appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm
right.
All right, whatever. All right.
Absolutely seems like a pattern. Like he does this for fun, and it seems like from stuff from the past, he's been having this like kind of side hobby for a minute.
Yeah, this side hobby. Oh yeah, that's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think it's fine to be a sex addict with a side hobby of like I think Destiny could hook up with 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds and not be fucking people's lives up. I think that's a possibility.
Right.
You know, like
I have never like felt the need to like I've been through some shit. Like people have wronged me. But I've like the thought of like, oh, do I make a video on this has crossed my mind because so many content creators do. And I've like knowingly known if I make a video, it's going to extend the conflict and it's going to direct hate towards them, no matter like how nuanced I be with something. It's just kind of a natural expectation. So he can't act like he doesn't know that people are being harassed on his behalf.
right. I made this video. I'm doing this stream with you in part to add to the overwhelming force against Destiny because I want there to be a massive opposition to him because the thing that keeps all these women silent. That's why I'm talking to you, because I want you, a woman, to be talking about these things. I want to give you a platform because that's what has kept them silent for so long. Like when Max tried to do the Destiny report, everyone fucking fuck, I have to do this again. Hold on. When Max did the Destiny report, he was getting criticized for asking people who Destiny has streamed with about his sexual behavior with them, or if there was any issues. And now, now it makes sense. Like, obviously, that's what anybody should be doing. Any woman that's ever streamed with Destiny, people should be asking, "Are you okay? Is there anything like maybe nothing? Maybe it's all fine. But I just want to get everything out there." And there's all these voices. Every new voice adds a drop to the bucket. That now they're all stronger for it. And now all these women are coming out of the woodwork. And so having this stream adds to that drop in the bucket and makes it that much harder to topple over.
Yeah. And like I feel like I was a little bit afraid of saying something because I don't want people to think like, oh, she's trying to make this about her. She's trying to, whatever.
I did this.
I
asked you to do this. I asked you to do this. This is me. You didn't want to do. I
do feel like it's important for me to add my perspective at the same time because while I didn't have the same experience Pixie or Lav or Cherry did, it never got to that point. Right. Destiny had called me babe and whatever, and then like. I think he could kind of sense, like I had a partner, I was very open about that. And the first interaction I had with him was about stuff like that.
He could sense.
So I think he knew it wouldn't fly. It would not fly.
Okay.
I'm not that naive anymore. Like, but he did call me babe, and I kind of pointed that out to some people, and he's like, LOL. They're like, LOL. He does that.
He tried.
Every girl that goes on stream. He calls every girl babe. So like. I mean, that's small, but it's just.
Yeah, do you think he calls Brianna Wu babe?
Only the girls he's maybe attracted to. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, why don't you think he's attracted to Brianna Wu? What do you say?
I don't know. I'm not. I feel like he likes, because he says he has a type for BPD girls. He likes girls that are a little bit in opposition to him, but not like kissing his ass too much. It feels like. I don't know. Maybe
yeah, well, that's why. That's what I was gonna say. He sensed that you had been taken advantage of by pedophiles when you were 13, and that makes you hot to him because that gives you the spiciness. The BPD.
I keep saying to people, I like kind of wish someone would try it because I got years of rage to unleash on anybody who tries some shit. Like at this point, like it's not gonna fly, bro.
You're locked and loaded.
It's not gonna fly. I literally, like, I'm almost 29. I'm so fed up of people's shit because I see the same shit, like grooming and that type of shit replaying. And I'm just like, nah, not my kid. If anyone ever tried that shit with my kid, I would probably go to jail for assaulting, like, whoever that is. Like, if another kid beat up my kid for no fucking reason, I would beat the shit out of that kid. You
wouldn't be able to help yourself.
Point, I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
I'm just like, I protect myself and I protect my own. I'm no longer people pleasing. I'm no longer like letting creepy shit slide.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But that being said, I'm aware of the prevalence of it, and I like to explore different concepts of how we can address it, because I feel like a lot of people get defensive because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, kill all pedophiles. I don't personally believe that. I believe that people should be kept safe, that, you know, like it's not, yeah, I grew up around like quite a few pedophile prisons.
Really?
Unfortunately, my brother is a sex offender. And I grew up
Maybe
in
Destiny
an
will
adult
meet him
foster care
soon.
home. So yeah, I mean,
Maybe you'll have an in with
like,
Destiny.
my
You'll
brother
meet your
is out of
brother.
jail. But the thing is, my brother is out of prison. He spent 10 years in prison, and the prison didn't help him. So I'm also very, at the same time, pro like prison reform and creating better systems to hold people accountable than what we currently have, because I know people like sexually abuse each other in prison. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like a chaotic terms of like holding people accountable. I think that there could be a better way, like similar to like
Yeah, I don't.
Norway, or just exploring other options.
Yeah.
I think it's more like with sex offenses, like a psychological thing that needs to be addressed rather than just putting someone away for an indefinite amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think that with like grooming a 13-year-old online, it's more than just
He killed himself. The guy who did it to me, he overdosed and he drowned in a puddle of his own vomit. His brother,
so he was a
I talked to his
drug
brother,
addict too, I
found
guess.
out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that's actually what led him to doing the fucked up things he did, because he was a hacker. He would pride himself in being an expert social engineer, and he would talk about his parents' substance use and his own, like Adderall and stuff like that, and he would just be, and that's another thing to acknowledge, is that Adderall and stimulant medications can go hand in hand with sex addiction. That was the case for my brother with amphetamines.
Well, I recently quit. I recently quit
means,
Adderall, and
can correlate.
I recently quit Adderall, and my gooning is not ended. Well,
I mean, like it can also be habitual and all these things. There's not any one answer.
yeah, I Adderall
it's just
made me a
something I've
gooner, and
noticed.
now I'm a gooner for life.
I mean, gooning with consent doesn't hurt anybody. You know, like porn, whatever, like that people put out there. And that's why I think I'm not anti-sex work or anything like that, is because people should have the power over their own bodies to decide what's out there, versus like somebody else taking the power away from you. And that was like, yeah, the decision maker for me, because I'm like, I'd rather be in control than be in fear of somebody else using this footage against me, you know?
Yeah. And
yeah,
I was just trying. I was gonna say I think you kind of you've basically said it the same, but I think that somebody grooming 13-year-olds like online is more than just like it's more than them just like they could be an exclusively attracted to 13-year-olds person, and even somebody that's exclusively attracted to 13-year-olds, like the act of actually like abusing a 13-year-old, like that takes like you're now also like deranged, like you have no judgment of morals or empathy, or you know, like you're trying to like you know what I mean?
I mean, like he was really far gone. Like he had tried to apologize to me several times, and I would be naive and I would forgive him, and then we would come back in contact, and then more fucked up shit would happen, until the last day I ever talked to him on the phone was when he had me go on his YouTube channel. He had me make a video for him saying that he got arrested for hacking. And I was 15 years old, and like a lot of people made fun of me, made fun of my appearance, whatever. And I was just kind of after I posted that video on his channel, in a catatonic state, because he had like said he was calling me from like jail, and that I needed to do this for him, and that it was so important. And so after that, I'm catatonic for a couple days, and I get a phone call from him and his girlfriend he had the entire time, because it was long distance.
And he didn't tell you?
Him and his girlfriend, no. He had told me
why couldn't he have his fucking girlfriend make the video?
So here's the thing. He was never in jail. He was never arrested. Him and his girlfriend sat on the phone laughing at me about how easy I was to troll and how naive I was. And like what a dumb piece of shit. This guy, like I would have mental breakdowns because of the stuff that he would tell me. And he was like the first real love I had, I thought at the time, because he had said things to me like no guy had ever said
Yeah, it's easy
before.
to fall in love when you're
And so
13.
I
It's
was
real
just-
easy.
Right, exactly, and that's why it's so fucking sinister to do this shit. And so I, just fucking fell for it. And
That's
so
actually
he had spread around videos of me cutting myself, and he would tell me to cut vertically instead of horizontally because it would be more effective. Like
my
he had me put
God.
curling irons in my body. Like,
Yeah,
while
sounds
they were
like a
on.
real
Like,
extreme
yeah, fuck
sadist.
shit. Just gross
Yeah.
shit. And so yeah, it's like I had stopped talking to this person after that. Unfortunately, at 15, like I had tried to reach out to some other friends, and they were just trolling me because I was dating him. They're like, "Well, you should have known better. You got involved with him. It's your own fault." And so that was like at 15, like like my most serious suicide attempt, because I had no one to go to. Like I was living with my grandma because I was estranged from my parents, and it was just fucked. It was just fucked all around. But that being said, though, he had tried to make contact several other times, and I knew what he was capable of, so I'm just like, I never came out about him. There was one person who had me come on their YouTube channel to talk about him, that they just extorted me for content, and it was just really fucked up all around. And so, but that experience, even though I didn't have contact with him, I didn't trust him, I just kept hoping he would get his shit together and never hurt anyone like that ever again. But unfortunately, in 2020, but I was also at the same time in fear of him. So it was like a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. I was like terrified. I had my own YouTube channel. I deleted it because I didn't want to be associated with him. I didn't want to get bullied anymore. But I was super passionate about YouTube, and so I wanted to start again. But just the thought in the back of my mind, like he could come back and he could fuck with me, stopped me from creating and pursuing the things that I wanted to do. Until like 2020, I found out he overdosed and he died. And then I was just like, I didn't feel that sense of like some people are like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, my abuser died. I just felt like dread and a deep sense of like something is wrong with society, with humanity, that like needs to change. Because obviously there was things that like I fell in love with this person, even though he did all these horrible, awful things. This is probably psychopathic, but I didn't feel any satisfaction when he ultimately killed himself.
Psychopathy can be sexy, especially when you're 13.
Yeah, I mean, like it's.
Dude, a 13-year-old,
he was like 19.
All the other boys in your class when you're 13 are all like meek or like really stupid, and then you talk to some 19-year-old psychopath, and he's like real interesting and dark,
charming.
And yeah.
And also it was like he would, like, other girls like were like, oh my god, he's so cool or whatever, like stuff like that, and like other guys would be like, oh, I want to learn how to do what he does. So he was like very smart. He would be kind of like a leader type figure, but like, and a lot of people wouldn't believe me when I would try and talk about the things that happened, because they're like, oh well, you're just like, you know, like some dumb e-slut or whatever. And that's the sad part is, before I ever became a sex worker or anything, like as a child, I was treated like I was a slut just for existing. And I don't want to be like, you know, social justice warrior feminist, but it does impact the way that girls act. And I feel like whether or not they develop BPD or their relationship with men or their ability to like connect with other women. I know Erudite has this projection that women are just always like in competition with each other when they're in a Discord call together, but I've been fortunate enough to find women who don't feel the need to constantly be in competition with each other, because I feel like that really just serves these psychopathic men who want to see women fight each other.
I just got a comment in my chat, a chat message that is awful. But do you want me to tell you so you can unleash on them?
You can share it.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I were Catnip at age 15, I would have forgiven him but never talked to him again. That's what you should have done. It's what you should have done, Catnip. Unleash on this person.
So okay.
Unleash.
I don't even think forgiveness was on my mind at 15. At 15, I was truly convinced I was the problem and the world would be better off without me. I didn't even yet see that he was fucking with me so badly because I was on all this also psychiatric medication, and as I was going on and off these different medications and I was trying to communicate with psychiatrists about how it was making me feel, he would also use me being on medication as like a pawn, like, oh, are you off your meds today? You said you don't like something I'm doing. You must be crazy. Like, so it was, I was so gone, bro. I was like literally convinced, like maybe because of also like the things going on in my family, maybe I am the problem and maybe society would be a better place if I wasn't here. That was where I was at. I wasn't even thinking about forgiveness at that point. Like, honestly. But I would say that in my own way, I forgave him, but I had that boundary. I had learned that boundary after 15 that like this person is not safe. I can't, as much as I love this person, which it's sad to say that, right? You love someone who did something so horrible to you. This is how I felt. As much as I do admire and love this person and these things about this person, I cannot fucking talk to them because they will destroy me mentally.
It's hard to let someone.
Which is a sad place to be.
So it's hard to let someone abuse you that much if you don't love them. It's usually always the case.
Yeah. Not judging him, just my own mindset and opinion. You weren't there, Kenny. You weren't there, bro.
No. I believe Kenny. I think that if Kenny was you, it would have been fine. I think it's actually just your fault that you weren't mature enough to handle this situation when you were 15. And also, you know, if your family wasn't so good, well, maybe you should have like worked on that, you know?
Just have a better family, like.
Yeah,
and
like,
that's the also thing is like I grew up in a foster care home, an adult foster care home, where I was constantly threatened that like you're going to be sent to a kid's foster care home, which we can assure you is much worse than our home. Which that's not healthy. And also just like the very complex lives of all the different adults coming in and out of my home. Like I have a lot of empathy for people because I would see people in all different states of life just fucking up and just getting fucked over by the system. So it's like a lot of people will say, oh, you're Stockholm syndromed. Like, but yeah, I do care about people. I do care about Destiny, even though I think what he did is abhorrent and you cannot fucking do that to people.
I think Destiny's Orbiter Club.
I do hope he figures it out.
At Destiny's Orbiter Club is the adult foster care system, is the adult foster care home. And I think that he's holding it over people's heads that he can.
Oh, love you. You just bringing me food? You a sim person? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, okay, Ryder's got my merch.
Oh, right, shit.
Come a little
That's
closer.
Ryder?
This is Ryder. Yep. He's got my merch on. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool
Show the front.
photo.
Cute. It's actually got like an Easter egg. I'll show you the close-up picture of it later, but there was a guy who was watching me do my cosplay photo shoot and turn around and he's staring at me in the woods. And so a friend of mine duplicated his face about like 50 times. So his face is like a little Easter egg in the photos.
Oh,
and
cool.
I just hope someday I run into him again.
Whoever was staring at you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he was just like watching us take photos. He wasn't being like weird. He was just observing. But we noticed later when we were editing the photos that his face was in it, and we're like, "Oh, hey, we got a fan." But yeah, that's
no matter where you go, these
stole
men.
It the moment I got it.
These men are always looking at you.
See, and I've learned to embrace the looking. I don't mind the looking. The manipulating and violation of consent, though. That's all.
You know what? You know what?
Go ahead.
We're so deviated, but you know what? As a man, I appreciate that because I can't help but look. You know what? I think. But. What else do I got here? Guy called Kilo the Giant made a big Twitter post. Want me to read it? It goes along with a lot of what I've been a lot of what I've been saying. I'll read it. It's a long one. Oh, it's a long one. Oh, it's a long one. Oh fuck. But I thought it was pretty good. I'm gonna put it up. Okay. The language utilized by people surrounding Destiny to slip out of having to actually condemn him and his behavior makes my fucking skin crawl. Turkey Tom, Brianna Wu, Counterpoints, are relevant, Dan Saltman, and whoever else offers up their bullshit lukewarm criticism in the coming days. They all should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. People like this typically have no problem issuing harsh condemnation of others. When they're, excuse me, one second, let me do something.
All good. That, real quick though, is one of my main points, is like how hard all of DGG goes on anybody who opposes Destiny. They should go just as hard when Destiny fucks up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the covering it up is so shameful. People, especially in this case, people like this typically have no problem issuing harsh condemnation of others when they're behaving unethically. The economy of commentary and political content creation space runs through hit pieces, criticism of other, and subsequent debates and discourse. But when it comes to Destiny, the language is always softer and sweeter. You can get endlessly closer and closer to securing an actual criticism of him, but a new, smaller cushion always finds a way to be inserted into the conversation to prevent that from happening. It's always, this stuff looks bad, and never that it actually is bad. And if we're all just concerned with the optics of as if we're only concerned with the optics of the matter, this just looks bad. This looks so bad, guys. Guys, this looks bad. It's always, he probably shouldn't have done.
I've heard a lot of people, I think Pisco was like, I can't comment on it until it's like legally determined, or I heard some people saying that they have to wait until the court case is finalized until they can have an opinion.
Yeah,
like,
that's just obvious. That's absolutely sweeping for Destiny and trying to make it harder, because the more people
did that for Amber Heard, Johnny Depp.
The more people that come out
before, watch the court case unfold, and
the more people that come out and have these conversations and make a stand and give their opinion, the more women, like, it just makes it safer for all the women. If everybody's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not going to say anything, it makes it like a really cold and harsh place to come out and add your experience to the story that is unfolding. And so far, it's basically every single fucking woman he's ever touched. Like his ex-wife, like fucking like Cherry Pixie, his ex-wife, Anna Lav, BX Bullet, fucking Bad Bunny, you, like a little, like he sicked his community on you. All these women have negative things to say about their interactions with him. What was Merc off the perk, like fucking Brittany Simon even. Okay, let me continue.
I feel like I was surprised to see Brittany Simon interact with him, and that was actually one of the things that inspired me, like, oh, maybe I can do this, because I've been following Brittany Simon since like 2017 or something. So I was surprised with all the things I had heard of Destiny prior that she was like gonna go in. I didn't know if she had not researched him or if she was just open-minded, which the open-minded part, fuck yeah. Now I think she's saying she didn't research well enough, but she did kind of know, like,
no, that's bullshit. She swept for him so much, like she's saying, oh, I saw the goodness.
I did also feel she swept for him. Yeah, like,
I saw the goodness in him. Also telling you not to talk to Max also is a bad one.
I feel like No audio. Okay, I unmuted. My bad, I accidentally muted my stream. I think she kind of just sees a lot of people as villains. And
Yeah,
I think
she sees
thinks
threats
Max
everywhere.
is also bad.
She sees threats everywhere,
Yeah.
just like Destiny
It's like a
sees
BPD
threats
mindset,
everywhere.
which I'm not shitting on her for this, like having a BPD mindset, but she does posture as healed. But like when she had kept contact with me without giving like a reason, and it was like very ambiguous, it felt kind of like a BPD thing, because I've done that where I'm like, I just feel like everyone's out to get me. I honestly felt that a little bit towards you and like anyone even adjacent to DGG for a minute, because I was like, anyone could be out to get me who's giving information to Destiny or this other person just to troll me, like that kind of thing. Like I became very fearful right after that happened.
Well, yeah, DGG's is scary.
I feel like a lot of people can.
All right.
Yeah, it's like not a lot of people are like wanting to understand you, and they just want the character of you to be the villain.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna continue with this.
Go ahead.
Let me see, where was it? Even when faced with overwhelming evidence like Pixie and Destiny both publicly acknowledging what has happened, it's always, yeah, if this is true, it would be bad. As if clinging onto some alternate universe that exists where it isn't obvious that it's all true. It's obvious these people are all spineless, disgusting cowards who want to appear as if they're issuing an indictment of their buddies so that people can stop asking about it, but are emotionally defending him and aren't actually interested in holding him accountable. Dude, All Relevant can't even sit in a voice call with Lav without pouncing on every opportunity to remind everyone how much he hates her for making false accusations, but which is so bullshit, because like at this point, like, are we still calling it false accusations? But when it comes to Destiny getting him to issue genuine criticism is like pulling fucking teeth. And Counterpoints refused to engage with food shops and confidently called her behavior immoral because of what kind of porn she watches, but spent 3 hours yesterday contorting himself into a pretzel to find a way to describe Destiny recording sex without consent as permissible. And don't even get me started on this 40-something-year-old infant, Dan Saltman, who desperately needs to take a vacation and embarrassing himself on the internet. I can go on, but you get the point. You are all genuinely pathetic. All right, that's that.
Damn, man. So I don't know if I'm wrong for this assessment. From my perspective, I feel like Dan makes Destiny a worse person. He either enables him or he just encourages like fucked up shit. That's like my perception that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that
it seems like his like. Honestly,
I just know I don't see it that way. I think that Dan is an enabler, and I think that Destiny's already like that.
Yeah, and that's maybe why they're besties.
Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe it was because I had watched Destiny on Dr. K. I started to empathize a lot more for Destiny. And then I saw him go on Anything Else with Dan. I was like, wow, Dan's just such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what he was talking about, but he was criticizing a woman who was like semi-pro-Palestine calling in. He was just the most misogynistic, vile asshole I've ever fucking heard. And I'm just like, oh, that's where the pro-genocide, maybe not where it comes from, but like that's why that statement is allowed to like flourish. Because I feel like if I even made a joke in like one of the groups of people I know in real life that I'm pro-genocide, people would be like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? How could you say that? Versus like Destiny makes it and everyone's like, oh, haha, that's kind of funny. Like,
hold on.
I get like laughing for cope, but
like that's even like, so I I would, in that case, if it was equal, I would defend Destiny making jokes. I think it's okay to make jokes, like whatever. But he's a big public figure.
It's the jokes aligning with his like. Okay,
wait,
so
wait. I have
it's one thing to make jokes, but the jokes actually aligned with what he was pushing, like at that time.
I have an example of one that I thought was like irresponsible, though funny, like very, very funny. He was saying that when he was taking the side of Israel, and like he came out and he was like talking about like all that, he made this like this rant about how he was like he met all these wonderful Jews, and they're like he basically was like very overtly
great. I love Jews.
He was very overtly suggesting that he was being indoctrinated into a cabal of like secret Jews who are like now giving him all these benefits, and that's basically like comes hand in hand with siding with Israel, and that he's like being led into the Jew club where they're like he's like all the Jewish conspiracy shit, and while like that's funny, also like it. Like I am pretty sure that like a lot of like neo-Nazis and people that may have been like on the edge or something like can see that and like not know the context of Destiny and actually like start freaking out, and
right.
So it just seems like if he was like strictly a comedian, that's more funny, but he isn't, and he's like trying to like you can't like
he's taking himself more seriously as like a podcaster, reporter, public figure, like who's talking to like candidates and stuff like that, canvassing. So I feel like if something's a joke, as like much as it can kind of ruin the joke, when you're posturing yourself as that, clarity could help in those situations. But
the only thing that makes it funny,
I asked for clarity about like the suicide jokes to find out that they weren't jokes.
Right. The thing that makes that joke funny is that to some people won't get it. And they'll actually think that he's like actually like, oh, the conspiracy is right, and so like he's pushing like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories because it will make people think that anti-Semitic conspiracy theories are right, and that's funny. That's like the joke.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get it, but like.
But it is funny, but also like it makes you. It makes you like you're a comedian at that point, and he's not a comedian.
Right, and I mean, I feel similarly about, honestly, like jokes are fine, but for me, like when people make abortion jokes and they're like, oh, I've had my 10th abortion this month. It's like I could tell those people don't know what having an abortion is like. They wouldn't joke about that if they did.
If you could have 10 abortions in 1 month,
know what the experience of genocide is like.
If you were capable of having 10 abortions in 1 month, you have like a medically like you have a womb that's like a really good like
you got like 10 wombs in there.
Yeah, you're like a superwoman. You know what I mean? Like you're like a cat.
Yeah, so it's like silly, but like say if like a pro-life or pro-choice like activist who's like, I don't know, speaking to politicians makes that, but I guess like at the same time the lines are being more and more blurred because you see like Austin Show and Hassan Piker and Pokimane and Valkyrie interviewing Bernie Sanders, and Saikuno introducing to him what a VTuber is. So we are just like reaching the age of where we are the reality TV stars. Like we are the news. Like some of us are more professional at it than others, but yeah, I don't honestly, with everything we're seeing in society right now, like the president and everything, I don't see Destiny's career being completely ruined by this.
By the sex crimes?
I do. Yeah, I considering the meta that we have as society, unfortunately, I do hope that like legal action is taken and he's held accountable and he has repercussions to face for it.
I would hope that his career of canvassing and being seen as like the new, like I think he can still like be a streamer, and I think that like he can still like make his content but I think that like I just think that like him like being outed as a psychopathic manipulator and sex criminal really like he's literally Dan no, he's literally Dennis from It's Always Sunny. Like he's like a psychopathic manipulator recording all these women, and that's like I think that will change what he's able to. I would hope that will change what he's able to do.
At least in the mainstream, or like, yeah, it's like I hope it leads to more, because it's not like he's someone like Donald Trump who can just throw millions of dollars or at something, or has all these like political pundits to like back him or whatever. Um, it's different. He's just a content creator. Like, you know, he's from Nebraska. Like I grew up in Minnesota, like middle of nowhere. Like he is no better than I am, and I think that's like, I reject hierarchies. So I think maybe that's something that was maybe sense from me with this, and that's why a lot of people like went hard at me. They would try and say things like destiny made you or whatever, but I reject the hierarchical bullshit. But there is also like a little bit of, I guess, like fear, because yeah, people like Donald Trump get elected, like people who are the biggest streamers with the most power, like, you know, like Zerka or all these other red pillars are just very open about how they're attracted to teenagers, and they don't care about women.
But are you saying that you think that him? Well, he isn't open about these things. He acts like he is like, oh, like he presents himself. He talks about how he talks about how he's always
he pretends he's reformed.
You know, he talks about how he's always asking for consent and like always negotiating for consent. He acts like making a move while you're cuddling is like akin to like a rape or like a molestation. But actually, he's one of his things that now we know that he does is he records himself like having, and we actually know this like without Cherry's accusation, he admitted that he goes around recording people without their consent. When referring to going out in his grinder trips. So like I feel like I like that's not just like being misogynist or being attracted to like 19-year-olds. That's like he's like actually like a sex criminal, and that's not. Yeah. I mean, sure, yeah, Trump gets elected and everything, but Destiny's appealing to a different crowd than Trump. I think maybe Destiny could go MAGA. He could go MAGA. He could go.
That's like the thing is about these things is because I don't like viewing the politics as like a super binary left right thing, because I feel like there's a lot of nuance, and honestly, like a big rejection of the left for me, and me calling myself a leftist or anything, is people like Destiny, where I would kind of, I don't know, have like a hunch about this before, that he's like cosplaying as somebody who's progressive and who wants like unity and like these kinds of things. But then like, yeah, like when the Trump assassination attempt happens, like he's like, fucking, you know, if any Trump supporter dies, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just these like such extreme volatile nuclear takes that become normalized because of his presence in this sphere. That being said, I think a lot of leftists or whatever liberals are a bit extreme. I think the whole left versus right is very outdated, in my opinion. But it's like when you think of like leftist politics or left-leaning politics online, you think of like, yeah, Destiny and Hassan, and those being the like monuments of that, I think is ruining the movement in a way. Like people are, like,
I think
Pixie even said like a Joe Rogan of the left. I don't think we necessarily need that.
I think that Hassan, I think that not Hassan. I think that, what's his name? Bosch being into lolly horsecock is like way less bad than being a e-rapist.
And that's okay. So here is like another part of my dilemma. On a phone call with Destiny, I was like, hey, this streamer, I used to somewhat be friends with her. She said that this group we were involved with was like, they were evil, they were cult-like, but the first person she goes to tell people about it is like Destiny. And then so I think of like Adriana Lee going to Destiny as well after like the Crazy Slick stuff, and I'm just like, how are we like co-signing Destiny doing this, but yet we're like, all this other stuff is bad? I'm not saying which is worse, but I'm just saying like people really pick and choose about like which behaviors make someone, you know, whether or not they're willing to tolerate it. And I do think, unfortunately, like clout can play like a factor for people when they excuse certain behavior.
Well, hopefully now
know.
touching Destiny will get you slime on your hands.
I mean, I already have slime on my hands, so to speak. Like, I have a problematic history. Like, I, you know, have associated with some problematic people. And the more I try to stray away from problematic people, I run into other problematic people. And it kind of just makes me realize, like, more and more, we're kind of fucked. We're in a fuck situation right now.
I don't think it's the same as
but
being problematic. I think that you're kind of doing some of the sweeping. I don't think that it, like, Destiny is just a problem. He was always a problematic figure, but I think that being a sex criminal, like who's covered up his tracks and always espoused the like opposite principles and constantly is defaming and terrorizing women who come out and speak out against, and men that come out and speak out against him. It is more than just being a problematic. It means he is like a fucking psycho.
Yes. Right. So I understand that, but I guess like the thing is, it's problematic to a higher degree. But I briefly mentioned my brother. My parents are 15 years apart in age. Met when my mother was quite younger. You know, like when I mean problematic, it's like, it's not like trying to lessen the degree of something that is wrong, but it's just to acknowledge how prevalent this stuff truly is, to see like, okay, well, maybe that's why people are sweeping.
I don't
like,
think that the sex crimes are like as prevalent as you're saying. I think that Destiny is a uniquely fucked up sex criminal with a unique amount of power.
About like
with a unique amount of power.
Say like Destiny and Crazy Slick, I would say what Destiny did is worse. My partner said what Crazy Slick maybe did was worse, but I was saying what Destiny did was worse, and like there's like a trust factor there, and there's like a platform that's like much bigger than Crazy Slick's was. But I low key, I guess I'm kind of calling out Adriana right now, that if she's going to co-sign that behavior, but then be like, well, Crazy Slick did this wrong thing to me. I know it was a long time ago, but I kind of watched all of this stuff play out. And, you know, like, it's, you can't say this is bad, but then, okay, well, I'm benefiting from this person, so I can't call it out. And I don't want to send hate. And I don't think it has to be to the degree of sending hate, but just to say something, because especially if you're somebody who, you know, advocated for these other victims when it comes to Crazy Slick, you can't co-sign what Destiny is now doing or has done.
I'm not super familiar with
the phrase that it's not that deep, but it kind of is.
I'm not super familiar with the Crazy Slicks, that whole thing. I don't remember what it was. I remember I paid attention.
I mean, Destiny explicitly covered it, and I guess that's maybe why I'm comparing it, is because it was a huge point for, I'd say, a lot of people in the community, and he was ousted from the community. He was kicked out of Mizkiv's house and everything, and whatever, for what happened.
I think that Destiny is a uniquely fucked up sex criminal with a unique amount of power and uses it in a uniquely dangerous way.
I feel like some of the problematic people I'm thinking of, including the personal situation I talked about earlier, if they had the opportunity, they would do similar. If they had the same cards as Destiny,
they would record sex without people's consent and share it with other people just for fun.
I mean, that's what my ex, who is now dead, did, I mean, that's what the guy who groomed me did. He recorded.
Yeah, the
sex
guy
acts
that
with
groomed
me
you
and
is not normal.
yeah. No, I'm not normalizing it. I'm not okay. So when I
You
say that
are.
there's problematic people, like, and it's prevalent, I'm not normalizing the behavior. I'm highlighting that there is a much bigger issue than this issue. That it's and people within that community are normalizing it because people all over are normalizing
when
things like this.
When you talk about how everybody's you're normalizing it. You are normalizing it.
So I'm not meaning to normalize it, but I'm meaning to bring attention to that there is an issue with it being normalized, and that there's like a bigger societal issue than just this one person. This one person who's in power who contributes to normalizing it, that this is just like how it is. Like I'm not saying like that this is fine or okay.
Well,
but
then the way that you make it less fine and okay is you hold Destiny accountable.
Right.
And so that means
right.
that means not diverting.
Who have come to DGG? No. I've been pretty outspoken that what Destiny did is fucked up. What I'm saying is to these other people who went to Destiny as some sort of refuge because he was like somehow less fucked up than these other situations they were running from, and I'm just gonna call them directly, Novaru and Adriana Lee. Like, they both were like, oh well, Destiny, yay. But like, these other people are bad. But it's like the thing that Destiny has done seems to be worse, is what I'm saying, is like these other people who are contributing to normalizing it. I'm not attempting to normalize it. Maybe the way that I'm speaking comes off as it, but I feel like I have been pretty outspoken that leaking nudes of any sort, I don't want to make statements as if I want to be really careful, because DGG gets really up your ass if you're talking about something that is not proven, and what has been proven is that nudes were shared.
I can tell you're being very careful.
Right. So nudes were shared without consent, and what I'm saying is I disavow that. That is fucked up, and I explained my experience and how this like echoes and fucks it up and normalizes the behavior for other people who probably look up to Destiny or. But it's not just Destiny. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like all these other things too. Destiny is just kind of like signaling to people like, oh yeah, this is just normal. This is just how it is. And that's not normal. And it's not okay. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than that about it. And the whole crime aspect is newer, it seems like, and new to me, because when this happened to me, I didn't think there was anything I could do about it. I would say it was so normalized when it had happened to me that I'm just like, I'm just fucked.
That's why we gotta not have that reaction. We gotta actually hold Destiny accountable and not act like it's normal. Yeah. I think that when you have to make the conversation about Destiny and what he's done, and not make it a broader conversation about the culture. You have to actually just talk about Destiny.
Well, okay, but maybe like part of
because it isn't normal
conversation about the culture is because I know a couple of the girls who are still supporting Destiny. They're normalizing the culture of it. They're like outspoken about these things, but like when it comes to Destiny, he benefits them so much that they can't say anything or won't say anything.
Yeah. It's a system that he's very insulated because he has sex with people and records and shares nudes of people, leaks nudes of people who have a lot to benefit from him. So it's hard to speak out against.
I think that these like other people that are involved, though, even if they're smaller creators, I think that they absolutely could do fine on their own if they play their cards right and they make connections with other people, and there should be no reason to fear that. But it can be like a lot at first, but I feel like I kind of ripped the band-aid off with that, so to speak. But I also don't want to be like clipped saying something as a fact if it's not been proven. Not that I don't believe people, but that I don't want unnecessarily harassment directed at me. If I get harassment for something that I'm saying that is true and can be proven, I can defend myself easier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, I will say it. There are he has on the record said that he goes out, does sex acts, and records them without the consent of the people he's recording, or at least implied that, talking about his Grindr hookups. And Lauren De Laguna has said that he records people having sex without their knowledge. And now
she did say that, didn't she?
Yeah, and now Cherry is now pressing charges against him because she has been given access to recordings that she has found that have leaked of her having sex with him, and she was recorded without his knowledge, apparently his audio. So
that's horrible.
Unless that's like AI.
I do believe her. I don't think she has a reason to lie about that. I don't, like, because she's already experienced so much backlash from the community that I would see her kind of like go dark for a while. I don't think she would lie about that. I don't think she has any reason to or nothing to gain from it. Like, no one has anything to gain from lying about Destiny. Like, you get hate.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else? I feel like we're kind of like I'm getting tired.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about besides Destiny?
Yeah.
Because like I think that's why I keep trying to zoom out sometimes, because I feel like a lot of people have like psychoanalyzed Destiny a lot. But I don't know. I just feel like there is kind of some bigger conversations to have regarding this topic because of the prevalence of it. Because I know a lot of people in the chats last night were normalizing it because it's not rape or anything, right? But
it's e-rape. It's as much as rape as you could do electronically as you possibly could do to the furthest extent.
Yeah.
I think that
I mean, go ahead.
I think that ballet is pornography.
Do you think that ballet is pornography? I was briefly watching a little bit of your VOD.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I think, there can be food porn and stuff too. I think it's kind of like...
It's not like food porn. No. When you say food porn,
so you listen. I have seen some very sexual TikToks of people making food. Okay.
Well, okay, but that's actual porn.
Intentionally going at those angles, okay, but like they are. What do you mean that's actually porn?
Well, no, that's because when you say food porn, you usually not referring to people making porn of themselves making food. You're just referring to the food itself. But like you're talking about food porn that's also porn.
They can make it very sexual.
Yeah, but that's because they have their body in it.
Erotic.
They have their own body in it.
Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be like that. No. They can like cut the food or like, okay, so example. They took a piece of chicken. They cut into the piece of chicken to make it look like a vagina. And then they got up in there. It was very pornographic.
So yeah, anything
very pornographic.
Anything can be made to be more sexual, but I think that ballet on a baseline is extremely sexual, and I think the history of that bears out, and I think that the way that we consume it and absorb it also it is very sexual.
Okay, could you say the same about contortion or gymnastics or any other type of dance?
Yes.
So are maybe just humans existing is pornographic in some way?
No. Humans existing doesn't involve dancing, and humans existing doesn't involve doing elaborate things. Elaborate things. Yoga can be gymnastics and yoga can be like a fitness thing, and to some extent ballet is like a fitness thing, but the recording of it and the history of ballet being made for men to ogle at women and also predate on young women with the clubs where they would watch.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware of the history.
Yeah, historically is a predation of young women type beat, but also it is just if you can create elaborate ways for women to athletically spread their legs and then ogle at them while they do it, I think it is a sexual product.
How often do you spread your legs, Smeth?
every time I don't know. Planning.
Feels pretty good. Like
That doesn't undermine what I'm saying. It doesn't mean anything if it feels good or doesn't.
I'm not trying to undermine it. But I am just saying. Okay, so there's a context.
Are you
that
saying
matters.
it isn't
If
porn?
somebody. Okay, I'm saying the context matters. Okay, I know, a classic. But what I'm saying is, if someone were to kidnap me and shave my head, that'd probably be pretty dark. But if I wanted to make a art display of me shaving my own head, that could be empowering. That could be empowering, right? Like, so it's the context that matters. Is the woman doing ballet just because there's a lot of like men lording over her and staring at her? Or is she doing ballet because she likes the feelings of the movement in her body, or both? So, yes and no.
So I think that you can take a sexual thing and put it in a less sexual context. What?
If I were to lick my armpit right now, some people would be disgusted and some people would be turned on.
Yeah, those are the same thing. That would be a sexual thing. Those are the same. The disgust and attraction are two sides of the same coin, as a matter of fact.
Ryder, would you like to take this moment to either condone or disavow Destiny for leaking pornographic content of other people? Do you have anything to say for the audience?
I do not condone revenge porn.
Very brave, very brave.
There we go. That wasn't that difficult, was it? Wow. All right, let's get everyone on that list. It's simple. Either you condone it or you do not condone it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sweep. I'm sorry if at any point this stream I came off as sweeping. I am just truly trying to highlight that this is a much larger issue than tiny. But just using the opportunity to say that, but also saying that that is really disgusting, and I hope Pixie wins the lawsuit. And eager to see what happens with Cherry being involved with that, because if that is true, I feel like Cherry should join the lawsuit.
What is it? Phimosis Jones, that they call him?
Osmosis Jones?
No, like the thymosis, when you have like goop in your penis because you don't clean it good enough.
Never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, when you have a foreskin and you don't clean it.
Oh, smegma?
That's one way you could.
Smegma?
I'm more of a fan of Smethma.
Okay, Smethma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a good talk. You know, if you guys wanna go follow Smeth, maybe we'll talk more about ballet. I heard you talking to Mr. Girl about ballet. Are you looking for a ballet model to?
I'd love. You want to be my ballet model?
Photography?
You want to be? I was.
Let's go.
Let's do. Okay, let's do it. When you get over here, you can be my ballet model. Photograph you, and we'll talk about if it's sexual or not.
Okay. Can my boyfriend come?
Yes.
Is that okay? Like,
yes.
Okay. Yeah. For
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, good talking to you, Smeth.
Good talking to you.
Good talk. Good luck with everything.
Good luck.
Yeah. Hit me up anytime.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Well, that has been my stream for the day. Still working on my video. Still have only filmed a little bit, and I still, the first part of like 6 parts. It's only edited a little tiny bit. I just got I got my tip of my dick wet. I just got the little tip of my dick wet, just a little tiny bit, and it's got a lot of inches left to get wet there. A lot of wetness to acquire. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. In fact, you should be emboldened. And if you support me, and if you want to help hold Destiny accountable, then you should like the stream. It's a free thing you can do that is always beneficial. This is the end of the stream, but never forget, you can always, if you want to support me, you can super chat, you can gift memberships or buy a membership yourself. A membership is a reoccurring amount of money that helps keep me afloat and will help support my endeavors in my artistic pursuits and my crusade to hold Destiny accountable. I mean, I don't know how much crusading I'm going to do, but there's certainly part of it. You can join my Discord where my public diary is. You can follow me on Twitter. Link for both of those is in the description. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me there. Someone in chat says, I love Destiny. He's awesome. Well, looks like we got retards here too. And you know what? I'm not an ableist. It's perfectly fine to have people of all levels of intelligence, even people below 70 IQ. And, stick around and maybe we can raise it a good bit. Destiny is a good man, a real good man. Keep telling yourself that, Jethro Gibbs. Make it like a mantra. Say it just keep repeating it. Just say it. Destiny's a good man, real good man. Keep saying that to yourself, and maybe you'll start believing it. Good night, Smeth heads.